XRP is making headlines again, and this time it's not just about market moves or partnerships. Something big is unfolding, and it involves top level government attention. If you've been watching XRP closely, you know that sudden political decisions can shake the entire market, and the latest developments are exactly that. The question is, how will this affect XRP holders, investors, and the future of this cryptocurrency? Stick around because we are breaking down exactly what's happening and what it could mean. Recent developments around XRP have captured attention across both the crypto world and political circles. Reports suggest that a high level figure in the United States government has expressed strong concerns about XRP and its current operations. This has created an urgent push for what is being called the Clarity Act, which aims to clarify regulatory rules around digital assets, specifically XRP. The move comes after months of uncertainty where investors have been waiting for clear guidance on how XRP will be treated under US law. Without these clarifications, market participants have been cautious, and price movements have reflected this hesitation. Analysts explain that whenever political pressure intersects with cryptocurrency markets, volatility often follows. XRP is no stranger to this, and past events have shown that legal clarity or the lack of it can directly influence its market performance. The news that a significant political figure is pissed, as sources put it, highlights that the situation has reached a level that cannot be ignored. While some may see this as a negative development, others argue that regulatory clarity could eventually benefit the market, providing certainty for both institutional and retail investors. From a financial perspective, XRP has always had a unique position, due to its utility, partnerships with banks, and technological framework. Unlike some cryptocurrencies that are purely speculative, XRP is tied to cross border payments and liquidity solutions, making it a focus for regulators who are trying to ensure financial compliance. The Clarity Act, if passed, could define how XRP interacts with these systems and provide clear rules that may affect trading, holding, and institutional adoption. The anticipation around this act has already created buzz in trading circles as participants try to predict the outcome and adjust their positions accordingly. Moreover, market psychology plays a critical role in situations like this. Traders and investors react not only to facts, but also to perceived risk. When high level government officials publicly express disapproval or demand action, it amplifies uncertainty, leading to heightened attention and speculation. For XRP, which has faced legal scrutiny in the past, this situation adds another layer of complexity. The market's response is not always immediate, but the ripple effects of news like this can last weeks or even months. It's important to understand that while political statements and actions create immediate headlines, the long term impact depends on the actual implementation of regulatory measures. The Clarity Act is being closely watched by multiple stakeholders, including exchanges, banks, and investors who have substantial XRP holdings. Understanding how these regulations might be structured and how they will affect both institutional and retail participants is critical for anyone invested in XRP. This is not just a short term story, it has the potential to shape the future of XRP's adoption its price and its role in the broader financial ecosystem. As discussions around the Clarity Act continue, experts are weighing in on how this could directly influence XRP's market behavior. One key area is regulation. Many investors have been waiting for clear rules on how XRP is classified, whether as a security, a commodity, or something else entirely. This classification matters because it determines which laws and compliance requirements apply. Without clarity, exchanges can hesitate to list XRP. Banks may be cautious about partnerships, and investors remain uncertain about the risks involved. The urgency from political leaders signals that regulators are trying to fast track this clarity, which could bring both opportunities and challenges for XRP holders. At the same time, public statements from high ranking officials have added a sense of immediacy. When a political figure expresses strong frustration, or pushes for rapid legislative action, it creates an environment where every market participant is watching closely. Traders, investors, and financial analysts are all trying to anticipate the impact on XRP prices, adoption, and long term prospects. This reaction is natural as cryptocurrency markets are highly sensitive to news. Especially when it involves government intervention. For XRP, which has previously faced legal scrutiny, the combination of regulatory focus and political attention makes this moment particularly significant. Another important aspect is adoption. XRP is not just a cryptocurrency, it is also a technology designed for cross-border payments and liquidity solutions. Banks and financial institutions have been evaluating XRP for efficiency and cost-saving advantages, but the regulatory environment has always been a factor in their decisions. If the Clarity Act successfully defines clear guidelines, it could remove some of the uncertainty that has slowed adoption. In other words, regulatory clarity may pave the way for more banks to integrate XRP into their systems, which could positively influence market sentiment and long term value. However, the path to clarity is rarely smooth. Political debates, legal interpretations, and regulatory frameworks take time to finalize, and the process can involve conflicting, opinions. Even with strong support from certain officials, opposition from others or delays in legislative procedures can extend the period of uncertainty. For investors, this means that short-term volatility could continue as speculation and news coverage drive market reactions. Understanding this dynamic is critical for anyone holding XRP or considering an investment, as patience and careful analysis become essential in navigating these high pressure situations. Market experts also emphasize the importance of context. XRP has experienced similar challenges in the past where regulatory uncertainty caused fluctuations in price but eventually led to clearer guidance. These past experiences suggest that while political tension can create immediate turbulence, the ultimate outcome may stabilize the market. Investors who focus on the technology, partnerships, and long-term potential of XRP may find opportunities amid the volatility. Yet The key is to separate emotion driven reactions from factual developments, particularly when government actions are involved. Careful observation of legislative updates and statements from regulators will provide the best insight into XRP's future direction. The Clarity Act, while still under discussion, is already shaping conversations within the financial and crypto communities. For XRP, one of the most critical aspects is how it will be treated under US law. Many investors have, long debated whether XRP qualifies as a security, a commodity, or a different type of digital asset. The classification has serious implications for exchanges, institutional investors, and retail traders alike. A clear ruling could allow exchanges to list XRP more confidently and banks to expand their usage of the token for cross border transactions, which in turn could strengthen liquidity and market confidence. Political pressure, especially from high profile figures, often accelerates regulatory timelines. The news that government leaders are pushing for clarity quickly suggests that XRP is under intense scrutiny. This urgency can create short term market volatility as traders react to every headline and statement. At the same time, the focus on XRP may signal that lawmakers recognize its unique position in the crypto ecosystem. Unlike some other digital currencies, XRP has established real world use cases, and regulators are aware that their decisions could impact not just investors, but the broader financial infrastructure. Experts also point out that the market often reacts before the law is finalized. Rumors, leaked information, and public statements can drive price swings in anticipation of formal action. This is why it's essential to differentiate between speculation and confirmed developments. While speculation can create opportunities, it also carries risk. Investors who rely solely on rumors without understanding the underlying legal and financial context may face unexpected losses. On the other hand, informed participants who track updates, interpret regulatory signals, and analyze XRP's utility may be better positioned to make strategic decisions during this period of uncertainty. Adoption continues to play a major role in XRP's story. Banks and payment providers have already explored integrating XRP to reduce transaction costs and speed up cross border settlements. Regulatory clarity, it could remove one of the biggest hurdles for this adoption, giving financial institutions the confidence to scale their XRP operations. In addition, clearer rules may attract more institutional investors who have been waiting on the sidelines. These investors typically bring larger capital inflows, which can stabilize markets and potentially support long term price growth. The role of public perception cannot be ignored. News about political involvement, especially statements indicating, strong disapproval, naturally draws attention and sparks debate. Social media, forums, and crypto news outlets amplify every development, contributing to market sentiment. For XRP holders, staying informed and understanding the broader context is essential. The narrative around XRP is not only about politics or regulation, it is also about how the market interprets these events and how adoption and utility can continue to grow despite short term turbulence. By watching the situation carefully, investors can make more rational decisions and avoid reacting purely to emotion or hype. As the Clarity Act gains momentum, attention is shifting to how XRP's price could respond to potential regulatory outcomes. While short term volatility is likely due to news and speculation, many analysts emphasize the importance of looking beyond immediate reactions. XRP has a history of bouncing back from uncertain periods, especially when developments lead to clearer guidelines for institutional adoption. The token's utility in cross border payments, combined with existing partnerships, positions it uniquely in the cryptocurrency space. This means that despite political tension, XRP still has strong fundamentals that investors should consider when evaluating its long term potential. Another important factor is market behavior under political pressure. Historically, when high level government figures push for rapid action or express strong disapproval, it can temporarily increase trading activity and create spikes in price movement. Traders often react to statements before any formal law or act is passed, which can result in short term gains or losses. For XRP holders, understanding this dynamic is key. Acting purely on fear or excitement can lead to impulsive decisions, while analyzing both the political developments and the technology behind XRP can help make more informed choices. The potential impact on adoption is also significant. Banks, payment providers and financial institutions that have been monitoring XRP closely are likely to interpret the Clarity Act as a step towards certainty. Clear rules could remove hesitation in integrating XRP into payment networks, leading to broader institutional adoption. This adoption not only strengthens XRP's use case, but also signals confidence to retail investors and the market as a whole. The combination of regulatory clarity and real world utility is what many experts believe could support XRP's growth over the coming months and years. It is also crucial to consider the broader context of cryptocurrency regulation in the United States. XRP is part of a larger conversation about digital assets and their place in financial systems. Regulators are trying to balance innovation with compliance, ensuring that emerging technologies like XRP operate within a safe framework. For investors, keeping an eye on these broader trends helps provide perspective. XRP's immediate headlines may grab attention, but the long-term outcome depends on how lawmakers, regulators, and the market align to create a sustainable ecosystem for digital assets. Market participants should be aware that the path to clarity can involve multiple steps. Discussions, revisions, and negotiations are all part of the process before any act is finalized. Even after formal legislation, implementation can take time, and the effects may unfold gradually. For XRP holders, patience and attention to detail are essential. Understanding the technology, partnerships, and regulatory trends alongside political developments allows investors to navigate periods of uncertainty more strategically. By focusing on fundamentals and staying informed, XRP holders can better anticipate changes, respond thoughtfully, and avoid being swept away by short-term market noise. As we reach the conclusion of this situation, it's important to reflect on what the political pressure and the Clarity Act mean for XRP and its holders. The focus from government leaders highlights that XRP is not just a typical cryptocurrency, it is a digital asset that has real world financial implications. Investors should understand that, while news and political statements can create temporary market movements, the long term potential of XRP relies on adoption, technology, and clear regulatory guidance. The clarity provided by the act could ultimately strengthen confidence in XRP, encouraging banks and institutions to expand their usage and potentially attracting more long term investors. It's also critical to recognize that uncertainty is a natural part of cryptocurrency markets. Political developments, especially at high levels, can create fear or excitement that affects trading behavior. Some traders may react impulsively to headlines, while informed investors take a broader view, considering regulatory trends, market fundamentals, and XRP's practical applications. By focusing on these factors, investors can make more thoughtful decisions rather than reacting solely to immediate news. The intersection of political action and market activity underscores the importance of staying updated and analyzing developments carefully. Another perspective is the global impact. XRP operates in multiple financial networks around the world, and while U.S. regulation is influential, international adoption and partnerships also play a crucial role. Clarity within one country may set a precedent, helping other regions understand how to approach XRP in similar digital assets. This broader adoption can lead to stronger liquidity, increased transaction volumes, and a more stable market environment. Investors who consider both domestic and international factors are likely to have a more complete understanding of XRP's long term trajectory. As this story continues to unfold, it is essential for XRP holders to stay informed and patient. Political tension and regulatory developments can feel intense, but history has shown that clear guidance often strengthens markets over time. The combination of technology, adoption, and transparency is what sets XRP apart in the cryptocurrency world. By following updates carefully, analyzing the implications of the Clarity Act, and understanding XRP's real world use cases, investors can navigate this period of uncertainty more strategically and confidently. It is important to include a financial disclaimer. Nothing discussed here should be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research, consider your personal financial situation, and consult with a licensed professional before making investment decisions. Cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile, and investments carry risk, including the potential loss of capital. Staying informed, cautious, and strategic is the best approach for anyone participating in the XRP market.